Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. S. Naeem Banu, Assistant Professor of Political Science, Indira Priyadarshini Government Degree College for Women, Nampalli, Hyderabad. I welcome all to PPT presentation organized by the Department of Political Science. As everybody knows that so many brave people have born and died on this earth. But there are very few brave people who lead their lives bravely. For instance, Swami Vivekananda once said that if you kill me, thousands of Vivekanandas will born, and I am ready to die 1,000 times for India. Once Bhagat Singh told, if there is a chance for rebirth, I will definitely reborn, not for having love for life, but for the sake of Bharatamata. Che Guevara has chosen death instead of surrender for a noble cause. One more great and brave personality who has lived his whole life bravely, and that person was none other than but Socrates. Western philosophy is incomplete without knowing Socrates. To quote Jayaprakash Narayan, Lok Satta leader, whether Gandhiji has shown correct direction to the India's independence or not, whether Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has shown correct path to the Constituent Assembly or not, but Socrates has definitely shown correct direction for truth. In fact, Socrates was the first person who died for truth. The whole Western philosophy, right from Plato to Karl Marx, revolves around society, politics, and administration. But it was for the first time that Socrates has emphasized on one of the important facts, that is, body is not eternal, which is perishable, but whereas soul is eternal. In this way, we can call him as an yogi. But unfortunately, Western philosophers totally fail to understand Socrates' philosophy. It was Socrates who for the first time introduced questioning and laid the foundation for dialectics. Dialectics is a process or a method of knowing the truth through logical arguments. Socrates was a great teacher who believes that there is no end to learn. In fact, learning is a lifelong process. Once Socrates was about to die, means he has been given the capital punishment. He has requested the jailer when he was in jail that a beggar who was roaming outside the jail to call upon him inside, so that Socrates wanted to learn music from him. Just imagine a person who was very near to death but having the curiosity to learn. This is what a great quality of a teacher. Socrates' life as a yogi and death as a sacrificer is very interesting to know. Socrates born in Athens. Athens was the city-state of Greece, ancient Greece in fact. Ancient Greece consists of so many city-states. That was a peculiar feature of ancient Greece. It was in fact divided into so many city-states. And Athens was one of the important city-states. Regular warfare among the city-states was one of the reasons for the development of systems in form of either democracy, oligarchy, monarchy. So Socrates lived at a time when Athens was already developed politically, economically, and socially. In fact, Athens was the largest city-state of Greece. It was having pure democracy, where all the male citizens could take part in the process of law making in the assembly. The laws which have been made for the public welfare in form of so many public policies. The everyday executive function of the government was conducted by a council of 500, chosen by the citizens of Athens. So Socrates has born at a time when philosophy has been taught as a part of separate discipline. Socrates was a Greek philosopher and he was the master of Plato. Plato was one of the disciple of Socrates. Socrates was having several disciples. Okay. And I want to say one thing, that Athens was already having political awakenings. So in this way, Athens, the importance of Athens lie in the fact that it has given birth to several philosophers like Pythagoras, Herodotus, Hesiod, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. This is what the importance of Athens. Socrates has profound influence on the mind of Plato, and Plato has become one of the staunch supporter and the disciple of Socrates, who established academy so as to spread and continue the Socrates philosophy. Aristotle has joined the academy and became Plato's disciple. So in this way, these three people, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, were the great Greek philosophers. Means they were regarded as a rishis or yogis or philosophers of Athens, like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Vivekananda Swami, Dayanand Saraswati in India. Means the great people, the great rishis of India. In the same way, Athens was famous for having these three political thinkers and philosophers. So Plato followed Socrates' ideology. Aristotle, though, did not follow Plato's philosophy but continued the legacy which has been given by Socrates. So in this way, both Plato and Aristotle, though Plato was an idealist, Aristotle a realist, but continued Socrates' legacy. We can see In Plato's works and Aristotle works, Socrates' legacy, that is virtues. So in this way, Greek philosophy has totally based on Socrates' ideology, which has been later on forwarded by Plato, later on continued and popularized by Aristotle. And Aristotle, everybody knows, has theory of political science, and in this way these three people played an important role in founding Greek political philosophy, which has become the basis for Western political thought. So now let us move on to the very next important topic, that is, who was Socrates and in what way his legacy is going to affect the Greek philosophy, later on become the basis for Western philosophy. Socrates, born in a middle class family. His father was a sculptor and mother was a magician. Socrates studied geometry and philosophy. After the completion of his education, he got recruited in army. As I have already told you that at that time Greece was involved in warfare. So there was a need that everybody should join in the army. So as a part of which Socrates has joined army. But he left the job because of being corrupted. As what I want to say, that corruption was the rampart, and that's why, so as to escape from that corruption, Socrates left the job. Like how Gandhiji, after India's independence, did not join politics of being corrupted, in the same way the great people generally, so as to not to involve in the corruption, they generally used to take this kind of decisions. Turning point. Socrates' friends once taken him to oracle. Oracle means the Greece people used to believe in some god who used to reside on the mountains. So to whom they used to call as oracle. So once Socrates' friends have taken Socrates to the oracle, they have asked one question to Socrates, to oracle, that who is the greatest man or knowledgeable person in this earth. Then oracle has, it is like Akashvani, it has replied by saying that Socrates. Socrates got shocked by knowing his name, and he replied that I don't know anything. I know only one thing, that I don't know anything. Means Socrates wanted to prove himself that he doesn't know anything, and that he challenged oracle that he is not the great person, not the knowledgeable person. This earth consists of more knowledgeable persons. Now he has decided to find out these knowledgeable persons, and that is the reason why he started questioning to all those people to whom he used to meet, so as to find out the most knowledgeable person than Socrates. In this way, he started searching the knowledgeable persons by asking questions. This is what some scholars believe. Whether this turning point is correct or not, that is another thing, but his questioning have paved the way for the development of a great concept, that is dialectics, knowing the truth through logical arguments, which later on developed scientifically by Hegel. Socrates used to ask the questions to the people on the topics like what is love, what is truth, what is justice, what is democracy. These were generally the topics of Socrates, which he used to ask to the people. And this questioning of Socrates lead him to the death. Socrates was having bald head, short, had round face, always wear only one coat in all seasons, not having slippers, just looked like a man, but made the world mad. Generally, the great people looks like mad only, but their discoveries and inventions have been used by the people. Socrates' great quotation, which he has given to the world in one sentence, that virtue is knowledge, means the knowledge which we are going to get, if it is not based on virtues, means if we are not going to implement, the meaning of it will be lost. Socrates has performed his marriage very late. His wife Xanthippe was always ruled on Socrates. She used to quarrel with Socrates. She didn't allow him inside the house. That's why Socrates used to spend his time in the streets, means outside the house. He used to spend his time in asking the questions to the people, generally on several topics like justice, love, democracy, beauty, truth, etc. Wherever he is going to see the people, he is going to ask the question to the people. People got weary of Athens, got very much of get rid of him. Socrates once attended the party which was thrown by Augusta, the writer of his time, who won some prize in cash. In this party, generally Socrates used to depend on parties for having food. And his disciples were very happy whenever Socrates was going to question the people. The way in which Socrates argues, totally based on logic. And in this meeting, one person has asked Socrates, what is the meaning of love? You know one thing, that Socrates in his whole life didn't answer, have not given answer to the question. In fact, he questioned them by not accepting the argument of others. Then Socrates replied that what is the meaning of love to the same person who has asked him. And the person has said that it is a beautiful thing. Socrates argued that which love is beautiful? Either parents' love or dear's love. And that person has replied that parents' love. Then Socrates has argued that why, and the person was saying that because dear's love is always based on expectations, but whereas parents' love is not based on expectations. Then Socrates has said that love of parents is not totally out of expectations. Then everybody got speechless. Then one of the participant in the party has raised question to Socrates. Then you have to define what is love. Then Socrates went off. Why? Because Socrates never answered. Why? Whether because of the fact that he didn't know, or he wanted to create thinking among the people themselves. Definitely, yes. The second one is correct. The intention of Socrates was, if he would have been answered, the other people are not going to think of it. That is the reason why Socrates used to question the people so that they are going to think about it. Socrates' philosophy, which we came to know through Plato, because of the fact that Plato has discussed the conversation means between Socrates and his disciple in his works in form of dialogues. So, on the basis of which Plato came to conclude the very meaning of love according to Socrates. Plato discussed that love is, in his works, love is physical desire of human beings. Not only the love of dear, but also the parents. So in this world, everything which is related to the senses are perishable. Everything which is physical are not eternal. So in this way, love is not eternal. Only the truth is eternal. That is what the conclusion given by Plato to the description of love in the opinion of Socrates. In the whole life of Socrates, Socrates did not write anything. Whatever the knowledge which we are having about Socrates, that is from Plato's writings. Plato wrote several dialogues. Out of those dialogues, 4 dialogues of Plato devoted to describe about Socrates' life. Symposium was the dialogue where Plato has discussed about the Augustus parties, where Socrates' argument regarding love. Another important work of Plato, that is Apology, where Socrates defended himself as an accused. Another important work of Plato, that is Crito, where Crito was one of the disciples of Socrates, requested Socrates to escape from the capital punishment. Another important work, that is Phaedo, where Plato has discussed the death scene of Socrates. So in this way, whatever the knowledge which we are having about Socrates, that came from Plato's 4 important dialogues, that is works. So now let us discuss why Socrates has got capital punishment. And what are the reasons that Socrates has justified his activities? So, Socrates got capital punishment by the assembly of people. 500 people were the participants. They have taken the decision of giving capital punishment to Socrates. Why? So it is very important to know that why Socrates got capital punishment. 3 reasons can be discussed for this. Number 1, Socrates, as we know, used to question the people. Wherever he is going to find the people, either on the streets, on the roads, in temples, in markets, wherever he used to find the people, he used to ask them. And he is not at all convinced by the answers given by the people. And when these people are going to ask the question, means answer from Socrates, Socrates is not ready to give the answer. He left off, which was not liked by the people of Athens. They are very much disgusted with the Socrates questioning. Number 1. Number 2, Socrates' opposition to Athenian gods, means Athenian beliefs. Socrates used to question the people when they are going to temples for worshipping the gods. He used to ask the people why they are going to the temples. They used to say so as to pray gods. He used to say that God is there in your hearts. God resides in the soul. It is the soul which definitely stops us from doing wrong things. Whenever we are going to do something wrong, definitely a signal will come in our soul which is going to stop us. So God resides in the soul instead of in temples. That is what he believes. This has created a kind of angriness among the Athenian people, and he got blamed by the people. Third and very important reason for which Socrates got death punishment was he questioned the existing system, that is democracy. He was having the complaint of provoking the youth against democracy. So on the basis of these 3 complaints, okay, Socrates got death penalty. Socrates was prosecuted before 500 members of assembly, where 280 out of 500 have decided to give the death penalty to Socrates by giving hemlock poison. Thus, Socrates got the death penalty by the least margin of majority. If what I want to say that 30 members, remaining 30 members would have supported Socrates, definitely he would have been escaped from the penalty. In those days, there were 3 ways of officially an accused can be free from the punishment. Number 1, payment of fine. Second one, asking pardon from the king for reducing the capital punishment to the life imprisonment. Third one, exile. But Socrates did not opt any one of these. And for this, king got shocked, and king asked the same to the Socrates. And the conversation between Socrates and the king has been written by Plato in the form of a book that is called Apology, where Socrates defended himself as an accused. King asked Socrates that why Socrates was not asking pardon. Then Socrates replied by saying that, first of all, I am a poor person and I cannot pay the fine. And Socrates was defending himself by saying that if his way of asking the questions are not excusable in his own country where he resides, how the people of other country are going to digest him? If he would have been asked for exile in other country, and what he said that a mouth which is not going to speak truth is useless. It means Socrates in other country is also going to speak up, means questions. The country where he lives, the people are not going to excuse him and punish. The same thing happens there also. That is what he wanted to say. This is the conversation that has been taken place between Socrates and the king. Then Anytas, who has taken up the task of trial to the Socrates, then he got shocked and he started asking question to the Socrates that why Socrates was not asking pardon to the king, whether Socrates was not having any scare about death. Then Socrates replied by saying that if anybody slap me, then I will definitely get scared about it. Why? Because I have already tasted it. But the thing to which until now I have not experienced, means tasted, then why should I scare about it? Then Anytas got shocked about the answer replied by Socrates. However, Socrates' capital punishment was postponed for 1 month because of some cultural activity. So Socrates was put in jail. Daily, Socrates' disciples, Anytas, Phaedo, Crito, including Plato, used to come to Socrates and discuss several things. Once Crito, one of the favorite student of Socrates, requested Socrates so as to escape, so that he is going to manage with the jailers. But Socrates did not accept the request of Crito, and he said that I am the citizen of Athens and I should owe to the laws of my nation, and my nation has decided to give punishment. I should, as a responsible citizen of my nation, I should obey it. That reflects the fact that how much patriotism, how much responsibility and accountability Socrates was having towards the nation. Socrates' death scene was discussed by Plato in his work Phaedo, where Plato discussed that the time of capital punishment came. On that day, Socrates has woke up early in the morning and took a bath for 1 hour along with Crito. And when Socrates came outside, the disciples of Socrates were crying like anything. Then Socrates has asked them that they have to stop because crying is the feature of women. Then Socrates was started asking about the poison. He called jailer so as to give the poison. Then the jailer has replied by saying that it is not prepared. Then Socrates said that they have start making poison. Then jailer got very much shocked by saying that he did not see the person like Socrates. Generally, jailer was having the experience, years of experience there. The victims generally used to scold jailers, but Socrates used to uh, please with jailer and behaving in a common way. Then and Socrates was not at all scaring about death. Then jailer asked Socrates that why are you not scaring about death? And what is your opinion regarding death? Then Socrates replied by saying that generally death be considered as a deep sleep. If it is deep sleep, I am very much happy where I am not having any dreams, where there are no tensions. Sometimes death be regarded as a transmigration of soul from earthly city to the heaven. For this also I am happy. Why? Because I am having so many doubts. So if my soul transmigrate from the earth to the heaven, I will be very happy to go to heaven. Why? Because I'm having so many doubts which I can clarify in heaven, where I will definitely find the philosophers. This is what Socrates replied, for which everybody got shocked. Then, when hemlock poison has been brought after preparing by jailer, Socrates asked jailer how to had it. Then jailer has explained the whole thing. Then Socrates had the hemlock poison and he used to roam here and there, and then he used to sleep on the bed. Then his disciple started asking that how Socrates was feeling. Then Socrates said, might be it is working. So after that, after some time, Socrates died. There was no single expression of the pain can be seen on the Socrates' face. He died. And his disciples got very much shocked. They started weeping like anything. Why? Because from then onwards they are going to miss not their master Socrates but a great philosopher. So, with the death of Socrates, a great philosopher left this world. Truth died, justice remains in chain, duty bowed its head. That is, and this incident of Socrates' prosecution has brought so many changes in Athens, particularly Plato. Plato has decided not to stay in Athens. He left the Athens and roamed the West Minor, and then he came back and established um, academy so as to spread Socrates' ideology. One of the great things that has affected Plato's mind was that now Plato started criticizing democracy. Why? Because It was the democracy which was killing Socrates. So I can say that we have to learn so many things from Socrates. Okay, loyalty, integrity, then stick to truth, questioning so many things. In fact, Socrates was not a man, but the symbol of knowledge. He was not the thinker, but searcher of truth. He was not mad, but made the world mad by creating awareness among the people towards the society. So now move towards our next topic, that is what is Socrates method and in what way it has a profound influence on Western philosophy. Socrates method, definitely I want to say, include dialectics. Dialectic was the first uh, process where Socrates has started what I want to say, influencing. Coming to know the method which was followed by Socrates, generally he used to argue. He followed argument but in a peaceful way. He generally used to question the people so that uh, he want to create thinking among the people. So the most important contribution to the Western philosophy uh, from Socrates' side was definitely the dialectic method, which is a type of pedagogy that seeks to encourage fundamental insight into the issues and ideas via questioning. It is designed to encourage self-examination. The highest form of human excellence is question oneself and the others. Definitely arguments, cross-examinations, testing, scrutinizing, all these factors includes in questioning. That kind of method Socrates has adopted. He used to question in a zigzag way so that the people are ready to think in a zigzag way, which is going to broaden the thinking of the people. So life without examination, that is dialogue, is not worth living. That is one of the important methods followed by Socrates. Had a profound influence on Plato. Two styles which were very famous. One is classical, another is modern. Classical, which was laid down by Socrates, uh, is freestyle, whereas modern style definitely constructive. The classical style is more true to Socrates himself, whereas the modern style may be Plato improving upon Socrates. Means it was Plato has what I want to say, improved Socrates' way of method. According to Sabine, who used to say that it was Plato who has cleared the way that has been shown by Socrates. So Socrates' questioning method, which is fundamentally based on moral values of Athenian society. Generally, his questions revolves around the topics like what is courage, what is virtue, what is piety, okay, what is democracy, what is justice, what is love, what is beauty. These are all Socrates' questions. He had many followers because of his questioning, including Plato, Crito, and these people in general and Plato in particular were responsible for the spreading of Socrates' ideology, not only in Greece but throughout the world in form of modern, what I want to say, Western philosophy. And Socrates' method definitely was the critic of democracy. He used to criticize democracy indirectly, which has later been clarified by Plato by concluding democracy as a mob government. Um, However, Socrates' method, which was convicted by Athenian jury of corrupting the youth and heresy in 399. It means that the Socrates method, which he followed for the cause of creating awareness among the people, at last made him to death for having one of the important complaint of corrupting the youth. So, in this way, Socrates played an important role in laying down the foundation for Greek political philosophy, which later became the part of Western political thought. One more thing I want to discuss here: how is Socratic method implemented? Means, what are the ways where we can implement Socrates methods? First one, teacher's temperament is vital in respectful, non-controversial devil's advocate. Questioning process definitely leads to challenges, assumptions, proposition of hypothetical situations. Students come to knowledge in their own way. For the modern method to work, students are expected to be prepared for class in advance. Pedagogically, the modern method encourages students to reason critically rather than to appear authoritative. So this is the most important and effective method which was propounded by Socrates, which has definitely created critical thinking among the students. Thank you very much.